Trumler Nation. I'm your host, Killer Keemstar. Let's get right into the news. Today, we are interviewing Onision, the most hated YouTuber. I mean, there was a time about 6 months ago when Onision would upload videos to his YouTube channel and only get like 2,000 views. But videos exposing Onision would get 500,000. I mean, there is this hate mob out there that wants to destroy Onision, and they're called the Anti-O Movement. And the reason why they don't like him is because, well, Onision is so unlikable. I mean, he has been miserable and mean to people for years online. And on top of it, some ex-girlfriends have come out saying that he was abusive emotionally. But the number one thing against Onision and why people are hating on him so much is because they think he is a groomer. He had this girl, 16 years of age, Sarah, living at his house where he was taking care of her. And then when she turned 18, him and his husband hooked up with her. Here's a little backstory from another YouTuber known as Edwin, where he goes into full detail of this whole Sarah situation, so you have the backstory. Roll it.
Sarah was a fan of Onision and Kai since Sarah was around 12 years old, so when she received a private message from Kai at 14 years old, she was ecstatic. Despite the 6-year difference that Kai acknowledged in their first ever exchange, Kai decided to befriend young Sarah and eventually make jokes about grooming Sarah. And of course, it could be argued that a 20-year-old internet celebrity befriending a 14-year-old fan may not inherently be a bad thing. However, when you're doing that and joking about grooming this young person, that's when it turns questionable. There were actually a lot of bizarre tweets between Kai and Sarah, including one which encouraged people over the age of 18 to hit up Sarah when Sarah was still just 14 years old.
Many of the jokes we made were in reference to people thinking that something was going on.
Throughout their friendship, Kai learned that Sarah had a tough situation at home, so shortly after Sarah turned 16, Kai invited Sarah to live with Kai and Onision.
Yes, I am legally Sarah's guardian right now, currently. Greg is not a legal guardian of Sarah. I am.
This raised a lot of eyebrows, and not just because of the tweets or the age differences with Onision being 31, Kai being 22, and Sarah being 16, but also due to Onision's history with young girls.
There's a 16-year-old living with you. Weren't you dating a 17-year-old like 5 years ago? Yeah, but that's kind of like saying just because you're a chick who's into other chicks, you're gonna want to bang every single chick. So one, that's creepy, not into that person.
Onision would insist that he was not interested in Sarah and pointed out that it would be creepy if he was because of the 15-year age gap between him and Sarah.
Like I'm twice their age at this point. 7 years, 8 years, 9-year age gap, fine. 15-year age gap, you're about to be able to start calling them daddy for real, so no.
That video was posted in January of 2017, which was just after Onision and Kai had flown over 2 other YouTubers, Billy and Ayala. As time went on, Kai would continue to play into the accusation of being inappropriate with Sarah through videos.
Good night.
The strange ongoing joke of Kai having a secret relationship with Sarah finally hit a full stop when Ayala accused Kai and Onision of grooming Sarah. It kind of made some of those jokes in Kai's videos feel a little bit too real.
It's just nice to like connect with people, you know, like that's the best thing about technology. You can just connect with people from the comfort of your own bed, like nothing better than that.
Onision and Kai would both go on to repeatedly deny this accusation of grooming.
Literally the youngest person I know is Sarah, and I have never, ever had a romantic relationship with Sarah.
You guys have this concept of grooming, right? But that requires you have sex with somebody right after they turn 18.
Now, to be fair, that video was posted 2 days before Sarah said that they all slept together for the first time, so technically he wasn't lying about that part. But have a listen to how he proactively tries to deny the accusation by basically contradicting his own definition of grooming.
And the person you guys are talking about has been 18 for a while.
At this point in time, Sarah was actually 18 and 5 months, but you know, Onision likes to round up to 18 and a half, and apparently that's a while, and that's not right after she turned 18. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, okay? I apologize if I'm asserting my opinion too much, but I feel like sleeping with someone 5 months after they turn 18 is basically right after they turn 18.
So there is the backstory on this Sarah situation. So we talked to Onision about Sarah, and we talked to Sarah herself to have some questions for Onision. We got into it, and well, I don't know. Is Onision just a mean, horrible person, or is he actually a criminal? Let's find out. Here is that interview. Roll it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Onision on the line. First question for you is a lot of people said if I were to interview you that I would have to pay you thousands and thousands of dollars. So I want to get that right out of the way. Did I pay you for this interview?
No, you didn't.
And you're doing
I
this...
didn't request money.
And you're... Yeah, that's right, you didn't. And are you doing this out of your free will?
Yes, it's of my free will.
Awesome. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I believe, and this is my opinion, that you are right now the most hated YouTuber. Do you think that's true? And if so, why?
I think I've been that way for a very, very long time, and that's because I have trouble being normal on camera. I have the tendency to blow up my personality or exaggerate my personality for the sake of entertaining people more often than not.
So why do you go out of your way to make people hate you? Because it's like every video, I mean, this is from 2016 when I started watching you till now, like every video, it just seems like you're really egging people on. You want people to be mad at you. I mean, that's the impression I've always got. Why?
Well, if you wanted people to like you, you probably wouldn't do what I do, which is kind of obvious in what you said. And that's because you're dealing with a person who doesn't see the value in people wanting to like them or anything like that. My primary focus is just to create whatever I think is funny or interesting and not please people, but rather just make sure I'm doing what I feel is worthwhile, worth saying, or something that's different than what every other content creator may be involving themselves in.
When these allegations started coming out, and I'm mainly talking about, let's say 5 months ago, Blair White uploaded a video titled "Exposing Onision Child Grooming," where she interviews Sarah. And Sarah explains that, basically she came to your home, you guys were her guardians, and then you guys waited till she was 18 and hooked up with her, right? When this story first came out, September 5th, 2019, how come you didn't respond to this right away? Why did you just keep quiet about this?
I was under threat of being left by my spouse if I said anything.
Okay. So in this scenario, which I think is the main scenario and the main negative points against you, is this allegations of you grooming this girl. How old was Sarah when she first came to your house, and were you actually her guardian? And just kind of explain that briefly.
So first I'd like to establish that it's enormously debunked. I made a 30-minute video just showing how many times Sarah repeatedly said that nothing happened even when she was well into being 18. She said repeatedly that she was not groomed. She even said if anyone was groomed, it was us. And so I feel like because I know these texts are so authentic, all I would have to do is show them to literally a lawyer or whatever, and they would, it's really interesting that this person says they turn stuff into the police, because any police officer or agent or whatever could simply look at her repeatedly saying she was never groomed and repeatedly saying that nothing ever happens, even well into being 18. And they would say, "What's up? Why is your story completely contradictory? Why does this make no sense?"
Right, but didn't you upload a video saying that you did in fact, have sex with her when she was 18 and 5 months, I believe?
I don't know if I said 18 and 5 months, but the point is that Sarah said that even well into being 18, we did not have sex. She was saying 18 and 5 months. In her text, she said, she was repeatedly pointing out that Kai had rejected her, over and over and over again. And Sarah repeatedly said how badly she wanted to be with Kai in these texts. And Kai multiple times expressed to me that when he thought of being with Sarah, he felt like vomiting because it was such a uncomfortable situation for him. So again, when you have these receipts of somebody saying this to you, and you have a video of them saying on camera, clearly not under duress, clearly completely calm and composed, that nothing ever happened, and they're an adult when they're saying this, that nothing ever happened with Kai, and that Kai's completely innocent, Kai's always been appropriate, and then them going around saying, you know, completely contradictory things. You're sitting here with a person who couldn't possibly win a case against somebody except for, you know, the mob, who doesn't have a law degree, who doesn't actually understand the legal system. So it's a pretty uphill battle for anyone going into this, just because you're dealing with a bunch of people who, instead of going to the police initially, instead of handling this with a lawyer, they went to the masses and clout chased and started GoFundMes and did all these nonsensical things.
But don't you understand how the internet, right, would just take like the core, I would say the surface information about this and see you as the villain? I mean, this girl who's underage stays at your house. There's videos of you and your husband claiming that you are her guardian, or I think it was just your husband, not you. And then you slept with her after she turned 18. Do you see like how the internet would see this as grooming?
The problem is that everyone and all information points to this person being rejected even well into being 18. So when people push the grooming agenda, it doesn't make any sense, because there has to be some evidence that this person was actually prepared for a sexual relationship as a minor. And there's literally no evidence pointing to that. As far as actually being a guardian, I don't know of any evidence that there was a guardian, or I should say people like accused as being adopted parents or foster parents or anything like that. I don't know of a single signed document by myself or my spouse that there was any guardian status. I know that the other person, Sarah's mom, had signed a document saying that we had the right to, you know, make medical decisions for her and whatnot like that.
Right.
But I don't know of any actual proof, or I don't have any recollection that anything was signed on my part to actually accept that role. And it was consistently a joke in our house about it, but no one was actually acting like a parent. And Sarah was around us for a total of 10 months off and on over 2 years. So that doesn't really sound like a guardian. It sounds like somebody that you hang out with occasionally.
So there is a video of Kai saying that, you know, that she is the legal guardian, right? I don't know if those are the exact terms. I don't have that footage right here, but I'm going to play it right now. Roll it.
Greg is not a legal guardian of Sarah. I am.
In that video, is that a joke? Do you know the video that I'm referring to?
Well, yeah, no, I don't at all, actually.
I'm sorry, I don't have it right here for you to look at it, but there is a video. I've seen it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's difficult when you're speaking for other people. It's really difficult, like when I'm sitting here trying to talk about what Kai is or is not. But the point is that there's a huge flight records and all that. There's no actual parental indications or anything like that we were ever in a parental status. So someone saying that, you know, that's on them to defend themselves. I can't really speak for Kai, but what I can say is that Kai
so abusive to this girl, right? And of course,
give me an example. And I just became the poster boy for anti-Shane, and it didn't make any sense because
I got some questions directly from Sarah, but before I get into that, do you understand?
Wait, hold on, that's weird. You're